You are at home, relaxing on the couch, and suddenly, it happens. Your dog, who was sleeping peacefully, lifts its head, ears at full alert. It starts to growl softly, the hairs on the back of its neck stand up, and its gaze fixes on a specific spot, an empty corner of the room. There's nothing there, at least nothing you can see. Or maybe it's your cat who was purring on your lap and suddenly jumps up, pupils dilated, following something with its eyes around the room as if hunting a fly. But there's no fly at all. It meows, hides under the bed, or stares at the wall for long minutes, as if it's seeing, or feeling, something completely beyond your perception. Is this scene familiar to you? Have you experienced this? That chilling feeling that your furry companion is interacting with a presence you simply can't detect? Millions of pet owners around the world share these experiences, and the question almost automatically arises: can our dogs and cats sense ghosts? Do they have a paranormal sensitivity that we humans have lost or never had? In the supernatural realm, this belief is old and deeply rooted. Dogs howling before tragedies, cats staring fixedly at areas where invisible presences are felt, birds agitated for no apparent reason. Popular wisdom has long associated animals with a kind of sixth sense, an ability to perceive what lies beyond the veil of our everyday reality. They might be perhaps natural guardians, alerting us to what hides in the shadows. But what about science? What do rigorous studies and logical explanations say about these mysterious behaviors? On one hand, science shows us that our pets have incredibly sharp senses. A dog's hearing can pick up frequencies much higher and lower than ours, allowing them to hear sounds completely inaudible to us, perhaps noises in the house's structure, distant vibrations, or even subtle air movements. A dog's sense of smell is legendary, capable of detecting odors in minimal concentrations, which could explain reactions to scents we don't notice. Cats have spectacular night vision and are extremely sensitive to subtle movements. Science can explain a lot about how animals perceive the world differently and, in many ways, superior to us. And yes, many strange reactions can be attributed to these heightened senses, to stimuli we simply don't register. A growl at an empty corner might be a response to a noise coming from the plumbing. A fixed stare at the wall could be detecting a tiny insect inside it, or even sensitivity to changes in atmospheric pressure or electromagnetic fields that we don't perceive. However, and here lies the great mystery, what happens when none of these scientific explanations seem to fit? When the animal's behavior is so intense, so focused, and there is no detectable physical stimulus to justify the reaction? It is at this point that the line between the explainable and the unexplainable becomes thin. This is where science tries, and seems unable to fully explain the sensitivity our pets demonstrate. Is there something more at play? A form of perception that science still doesn't understand or recognize? Do our four-legged friends really sense the presence of something, or someone, that doesn't belong to this physical plane? What you are about to discover may surprise you as we dive deep into this fascinating topic, exploring what science knows, what it suspects, and where the supernatural continues to challenge logical explanations when it comes to the mysterious behaviors of our beloved pets. Stay with me until the end, because this journey is just beginning and your experience in it is essential. Because, let's be honest, you probably clicked on this video because you've already experienced something similar, or know someone who has. This is a question that lingers in the minds of many who love their animals and are interested in the supernatural. And it is precisely this exchange of experiences that enriches our understanding, that makes us feel less alone in the face of mystery. If this topic makes sense to you, if you've seen your pet react in a way that gave you chills, or if this possibility simply fascinates you, leave your story, your opinion, what you feel about all this in the comments below. Your participation is more than just a comment. It is your voice joining ours in this exploration of the unknown. It is in your comment that we feel the strength of this community, the the passion for uncovering the secrets that surround us. And if you're enjoying this conversation, if the topic has captured your attention and made you think, leave a like on this video. It's a simple gesture, but it shows YouTube that this content is relevant, that it touches people, and helps bring this discussion to more and more curious minds like yours. Your like is a vote of confidence, a sign that we are on the right path exploring these themes that official science often overlooks. And of course, if you want to continue this journey with us, if you feel at home exploring the mysteries of the supernatural, the secrets of ghosts and presences, and the incredible sensitivity of our pets, subscribe to the channel. By subscribing, you show that this topic matters, that you want to be part of this community that is not afraid to look at the unexplainable. Your subscription is the fuel that drives us to seek more stories, more research, more angles on these phenomena that challenge our understanding. Your participation here is what makes this channel grow and reach more people with this kind of content. People who, like you, seek answers or simply love to dive into the fascinating world of what lies beyond. But don't stop here. After sharing your experience and joining our community, get ready, because now we're going to go even deeper. It's like looking behind the scenes of reality and seeing that scientific revelations, no matter how incredible, do not cover the entire spectrum of animal perception. The decisions about how to interpret this are in our hands. But then, what to do with those cases that seem to go beyond known senses, where science, with all its rigorous analysis, simply cannot find a plausible explanation? This is where we enter the gray area, the big question mark that challenges our mindset and opens doors to other possibilities. Is there something more that our pets can sense? Some kind of subtle energy, an electromagnetic field, or even sound frequencies, like infrasound, that are below our hearing threshold but can profoundly affect animals? Science knows that some animals are sensitive to electromagnetic fields, used for navigation, for example. But does this sensitivity extend to subtle variations that could be linked to phenomena we call paranormal? This is a hidden truth that many researchers, even within science, are beginning to consider, albeit cautiously and with a need for more data. The journey to understand this is complex, and the impact of these discoveries, if confirmed, would be immense, transforming our view not only of animals, but of reality itself. Perhaps the transformation we need is not just to find a scientific explanation for the supernatural, but to expand our own definition of what is natural and perceptible. Theories range from detecting remnants of energy left by past events to the ability to sense the presence of entities on a different vibrational level. These are hypotheses that traditional science still struggles to definitively prove or disprove. This gap in scientific knowledge is what fuels belief in animals' paranormal sensitivity. It is not just a matter of faith in the supernatural. It is observing behavior that does not fit available explanations and asking, what else could be happening? What revelations do these behaviors hold about the nature of reality and about our pet's connection to something beyond our sight? It is a journey of curiosity that leads us to question the limits of what we consider possible. And it is precisely in these mysteries that the stories gain strength. Accounts from pet owners who have witnessed something that science, to this day, cannot satisfactorily explain. Stories that seem to confirm that, yes, maybe they really do feel something we do not. If this idea intrigues you, comment here, Mystery Revealed. Now I want to go even deeper into this subject and bring to light what truly fuels this belief. Real cases and frightening accounts that circulate out there. Have you ever heard of houses where animals refuse to enter certain rooms? Or pets that bark or meow incessantly at a fixed point, always at the same time? Stories like those of families who, after the death of a loved one, notice that the dog or cat seems to interact with an invisible presence, following it around the house, as if the person's spirit were still there. Chilling accounts, like that of a cat who, in a supposedly haunted house, spent hours staring at the ceiling of an empty room, reacting with fear or aggression to something no one else saw. or a dog who, in a place with a history of tragic events, became visibly disturbed, trembling and trying to escape, even without any apparent physical stimulus. These anecdotal data, although not scientific proof, have a powerful impact on people's mindset. They suggest a hidden truth, a sensitivity that goes beyond normal senses. These narratives create a journey of discovery and, for many, serve as personal revelations that validate belief in the supernatural. They challenge purely skeptical analysis and raise the question, if it's not a sound, a smell, or a detectable movement, what explains this intense and focused reaction? It is these behind-the-scenes personal experiences that make the topic so fascinating and lead us to question the limits of our own perception. Decisions about how to interpret these events are deeply personal, shaped by our beliefs and experiences. This transformation in how we see animal behavior in the face of the inexplicable is one of the legacies of these accounts. Are these cases just coincidences, exaggerated interpretations of natural behaviors, or is there something deeper happening, something science still cannot capture? That is the question that continues to haunt us. Comment below. Which story touched you? Now I want to go even deeper into this subject, because even with all the analysis of supersenses that science presents to us, there are still those moments, those pieces of data that simply seem not to fit into conventional explanations. What happens when your pet's behavior cannot be explained by a high-pitched sound, a subtle smell, or a detectable vibration? When the reaction is so specific, so directed at an empty point, that it seems to interact with something that, for us, is completely invisible and undetectable by our current scientific instruments. It is at this point that the journey of scientific explanation meets a limit, and the impact of the inexplicable confronts us directly again. It's as if there were a hidden truth, a layer of reality that they can access, and we cannot. This gap in scientific knowledge is fertile ground for belief in paranormal sensitivity. The idea that our four-legged friends can sense presences, residual energies, or even ghosts is not just a fantasy for many. It is the only logical explanation for what they witness with their own eyes, or rather, with the eyes and reactions of their pets. This mindset leads us to consider the possibility that animals may be sensitive to types of energy that science still does not know how to measure or even fully recognize. Electromagnetic frequencies in a different spectrum, subtle variations in the energy field of a place, or perhaps something that transcends the physics we know. These are the backstage of the mystery, where revelations may be hidden, waiting for a new tool or a new perception to be unveiled. This possibility has a significant impact on how we see the world and our relationship with the supernatural. Decisions about how to interpret these phenomena are deeply personal. You can choose to believe that everything has a scientific explanation that will one day be discovered, or you can open your mind to the possibility that our pets show us that reality is much more complex than we imagine. This transformation in how we see the world and animals is one of the gifts of this mystery. Science continues investigating, seeking data, but until it can satisfactorily explain all cases, the mystery of animals' paranormal sensitivity remains alive and challenges us. And this leads us to an even deeper reflection on the nature of consciousness and perception. If they can feel something we do not, what else exists in the universe that escapes our senses and our current understanding? Comment here, real mystery. Now I want to go even deeper into this subject and apply the lens of science to these behaviors that seem paranormal, showing how far scientific knowledge can go in explaining them. It is fascinating to see how the super senses of our pets, which we have already explored, can create the impression that they are interacting with something from the other side, when in fact, they are just responding to the physical world in a way that we, with our limited senses, cannot. Think about those moments when your cat or dog stares intently at a corner of the wall or the ceiling, as if following something invisible. Science tells us that this can be explained by their sharp hearing, Structures in old houses, for example, can emit subtle noises, creaks of wood settling, the sound of wind passing through small cracks, or even the noise of pipes. For us, these sounds may be inaudible or easily ignored, but for their sensitive hearing, they can sound like distinct movements, causing them to focus their attention on that spot. This is a hidden truth about the sounds that surround us. Another classic example is the reaction to inexplicable cold drafts. Our homes have small variations in temperature and airflow that we do not notice. A crack near the floor, a poorly sealed window, or even the ventilation system can create micro-cold air currents that an animal with its keen thermal sensitivity can detect. The reaction to this sensation of cold can be interpreted by us as the passing of a presence, when it is just a physiological response to an environmental stimulus that escapes our perception. And what about the fixation on specific spots, like under furniture or inside closets? Often this is not a ghost hunt, but rather the detection of small animals, rodents, insects, that are hiding. Their incredible sense of smell and high-frequency hearing allow them to locate these creatures precisely, even if we have no idea they are there. The scientific analysis of these cases reveals that what seems to be an interaction with the supernatural is actually a demonstration of the hunting and detection skills that are essential for their survival. These scientific explanations do not diminish the mystery or fascination we feel for our pets, but offer a shift in our mindset, showing that many behaviors have a logical and natural basis. They give us a behind-the-scenes look at how they perceive the world, revealing the complexity of their senses. However, even with these revelations, there are still cases that seem to go beyond. Comment below. Makes sense. Now I want to go even deeper into this subject and reach the big question mark, the core of our mystery. What can science simply not explain? At least not yet. Because yes, the super senses of our pets are incredible and account for many things that seem inexplicable to us. But what about when there is no sound, smell, vibration, or any other apparent physical stimulus that our instruments can detect? When the animal reacts intensely, with fear, aggression, or fascination, to something that really seems not to be there, according to all our scientific analysis? This is where we enter the territory of genuine mystery. These are the reports that persist, those data that current science cannot fit into any known category. The dog that barks at the empty corner of the room, always at the same time, even after a thorough investigation that finds nothing. No noise, no odor, no draft. The cat that bristles and flees from a specific hallway, where nothing physical seems to disturb it. These are the moments that make us scratch our heads and question the limits of our own perception and animal perception. This gap in scientific explanation is what fuels the belief in animals' paranormal sensitivity. It is the idea that they may be picking up something beyond the electromagnetic spectrum we know, beyond the sound frequencies we can measure, beyond the odors our chromatographs can identify. Perhaps it is a type of subtle energy, a resonance of past events, or even the presence of something that exists in a different dimension from ours. This possibility has a profound impact on our mindset, opening doors to consider that reality is much vaster and more complex than traditional physics teaches us. This journey in search of answers leads us to explore the backstage of the inexplicable. The revelations we seek may be hidden in types of sensitivity that science has not yet validated or fully understood. It is a direct challenge to our skepticism, forcing us to consider that perhaps the hidden truth is that our pets are, in fact, biological antennas for phenomena that escape our current understanding. Decisions about what to believe in the face of these mysteries are personal, but the mere existence of these unexplained cases keeps the flame of curiosity alive. While science continues its tireless search for data and explanations, these mysterious animal behaviors remain a humbling reminder that perhaps we do not know everything about the universe and the creatures that share our home. They invite us to transform our way of seeing the world, to embrace mystery, and to consider that maybe, just maybe, our pets see and feel things we cannot even imagine. Comment here, unexplained mystery. Now I want to go even deeper into this subject, exploring some theories and hypotheses that science investigates or speculates about to try to fill the gap of what it still cannot explain. Could the key to understanding the sensitivity that seems paranormal lie in senses beyond the 5 we know? A fascinating line of investigation is the detection of electromagnetic fields. We know that some animals, like birds and sharks, have the ability to sense and use these fields for navigation. The speculation is, could dogs and cats also possess to some degree this sensitivity? And more importantly for our topic, could certain activities we associate with the supernatural, such as the presence of spirits or residual energies in places with history, be linked to fluctuations or anomalies in these electromagnetic fields, which our pets would be able to detect? This is a hidden truth that science tries to unravel. Another interesting hypothesis involves infrasound. These are sound waves of very low frequency, below the limit of human hearing. Natural events, like distant earthquakes, storms, or even the movement of air masses, can generate infrasound. Some researchers speculate that animals could be sensitive to these waves, reacting to them in ways we interpret as premonitions or reactions to something invisible. The perception of infrasound could explain, for example, why animals become restless before an earthquake that we have not yet felt. But the most intriguing point is the possibility that there are forms of perception we simply do not know about at all. Senses that do not fit into the traditional categories: sight, hearing, smell, taste, touch, or that operate in dimensions that current physics has not yet mapped. Could our pets be picking up something that is completely outside our spectrum of perception? Something that science, with its current tools, still does not have the capacity to measure, quantify, or even recognize the existence of? This journey of scientific speculation takes us behind the scenes of reality itself. This open mindset toward the unknown is crucial. Revelations about animal sensitivity may come from where we least expect. The impact of a discovery in this field would be immense, potentially changing our decisions about how we study consciousness and interaction with the environment. While we await these possible scientific revelations, the mystery remains, fueling our curiosity and the belief that there is much more to our pet's behavior than meets the eye. Comment below, beyond the senses. Now I want to go even deeper into this subject and dive into what really moves us. The stories that defy logic. These are real stories, told by pet owners from all over the world, that seem to go beyond any scientific explanation based on keen senses or the theories we have just explored. These narratives carry a very strong emotional impact because they touch directly on our perception of reality and the connection we have with these animals. Think about those chilling stories. The dog that starts barking uncontrollably at an empty spot in the house, with raised hackles and visible fear in its eyes, minutes before an object inexplicably falls from a distant shelf. Or the cat that refuses to enter a specific room, hissing and showing signs of panic, even though there is no smell, sound, or any physical stimulus detectable by us. These are not just reactions to a subtle noise or a draft. They are intense, focused, and often persistent behaviors that seem to interact with something that, for all intents and purposes, simply isn't there, according to our understanding of the physical world. There are reports of animals that seem to sense the arrival of loved ones who are far away, or that react to tragic events happening miles away, even before the news arrives through conventional means. These are anecdotal data, yes, but the frequency and similarity of these reports across different cultures and times make us stop and think. Could there be a hidden truth in these testimonies? Do our pets possess a sensitivity that transcends the physics we know, picking up information or energies that completely escape us? These stories take us on a journey of questioning. They challenge our rational mindset and invite us to consider the possibility that the world is more mysterious than we imagine. Decisions about how to interpret these accounts are personal, but it's hard not to feel a deep fascination and, at times, a slight shiver down the spine when hearing about an animal that seems to be interacting with an invisible presence. These are the behind the scenes of the inexplicable, where revelations, if they exist, are still waiting to be discovered. While science continues to seek explanations for the subtlest phenomena, these stories remain powerful reminders that the connection between our pets and the world around us may be much deeper and more complex than we can comprehend with our limited senses. They show us that perhaps there is more between heaven and earth than our philosophy dreams of. Comment here. Chilling story. Now, I want to go even deeper into this subject and return to that central question that has been hanging in the air since the beginning of our conversation. Are our pets just incredibly sensitive beings, with heightened senses that science has already begun to map? Or are they, in fact, guardians who share our space with the invisible, trying to warn us about something that escapes our perception? Science has given us important clues, demystifying some behaviors and showing how powerful the known senses are. Hearing that captures inaudible frequencies, smell that detects imperceptible odors, sensitivity to subtle vibrations. This analysis offers us a rational basis for many phenomena, but, as we have seen, the door to mystery remains open. Even with all the scientific analysis, there are still those data, those reports and behaviors that simply do not fit conventional explanations. This is where the reflection deepens. Could the hidden truth be that they really share our space with the invisible? That there are presences or energies that coexist with us, and that only they, with a sensitivity we do not yet fully understand, can detect. This possibility has a huge impact on our mindset, forcing a transformation in how we see the world and life after death, or other dimensions of reality. This journey between rationality and mystery is fascinating. Decisions about which side to lean toward are personal, shaped by our experiences, beliefs, and how we interpret the available data and the reports we hear. Some will choose the scientific explanation, trusting that one day science will have the tools to unravel all the secrets of animal senses. Others will embrace the possibility that our pets are, in some way, connected to a plane or dimension that transcends our known physical reality. The backstage of this discussion is rich in speculation and curiosity. Perhaps the answer is not an either-or, but an and. Perhaps they are incredibly sensitive to physical stimuli that escape us and, in some rare and still unexplained cases, are also able to pick up something more. Revelations about the nature of consciousness and perception may come from where we least expect, perhaps by observing more closely the behavior of those who share our lives. The impact of this potential understanding would be profound, changing not only our view of animals but of the universe itself. Comment below. Open mystery. Now I want to go even deeper into this subject and tie up the loose ends of our journey so far, revisiting the big question that brought us to this conversation. We have traveled the path from admiration for the incredible super senses of our pets, understanding how science explains much of what seems paranormal through sharp hearing, powerful smell, sensitivity to vibrations, and fields that escape us. We have seen that this scientific analysis offers a transformation in our mindset, giving us a logical basis for many behaviors. But we have also been honest about the big question mark. Those reports and data that persist, the stories that challenge current scientific explanation, where there really seems to be no detectable physical stimulus. We explored the theories and hypotheses that science speculates on: detection of electromagnetic fields, infrasound, and even the idea of completely unknown senses, in an attempt to find a hidden truth behind these mysteries. And we heard reports that defy logic, personal experiences that give us chills and make us question the limits of our own perception. So we return to that central question, the core of our ongoing mystery. Are our pets just incredibly sensitive beings with extraordinary biological abilities that science is still unraveling? Or are they somehow guardians or messengers who share our space with the invisible, with presences or energies that we, with our limited senses, cannot detect? Science gives us important clues, enlightens us in many ways, but the door to mystery remains open. This duality between the explainable and the unexplainable is what makes this topic so fascinating and so personal for those who live with animals. The decisions about how to interpret our pet's behavior in the face of what seems supernatural are ultimately ours. We can choose to focus only on known scientific explanations, or we can allow the possibility of the unexplainable to fuel our curiosity and invite us to look at the world with different eyes. Perhaps the answer lies somewhere between science and what we still consider paranormal. Perhaps future scientific revelations will show us that what we call paranormal sensitivity is, in fact, just a sensitivity to physical phenomena that we do not yet have the tools to measure or fully understand. The backstage of this discovery is still being written. And you, what do you think about this? Do you believe they sense presences, or are they just incredibly sensitive to the physical world? This journey of exploring what lies between science and the unexplained is fascinating, isn't it? We have seen that science has already given us many revelations about the super senses of our pets, explaining many things that once seemed paranormal. This analysis has brought us a new mindset, a transformation in how we understand animal sensitivity. But as I said, the mystery persists, and perhaps this is the most intriguing hidden truth of all, that there is still much we do not know, and that our pets may be the key to unraveling some of these secrets behind the scenes of reality. The decisions about what to believe are yours, of course, but the simple fact that we are having this conversation, that you have come this far exploring these ideas with me, already shows that you also feel the impact of curiosity about the invisible. And if you enjoyed our conversation, this exchange of ideas about what might be beyond the known senses, show me by leaving your like down below. It's a way to know that this journey of mystery and discovery makes sense to you too. And since you stayed with me until the end, write in the comments the phrase, "I'm with you until the end." That way I know who the true explorers of the unexplained are that followed our entire conversation. And if you want to keep uncovering mysteries and exploring the secrets of animal behavior and the world around us, do this. Subscribe to the channel. That way you won't miss the next videos where we will continue our investigation. There's a video here on the side that complements this topic. Click and continue with me there.